Right, good morning all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Lowe and I'm the founder of Insider Tech Talent. I'm here today to help you map out a successful and future-proof Apple IT career. The insider part of my name, I hope that's going to become clear in a few minutes, but the tech talent part, I bet you can always guess what that means already. So, yes, I am a dreaded IT recruiter. And I know that you guys probably don't have high opinions of recruiters, and you're probably right, because on the surface, you're probably thinking, oh, he's quite a nice guy, you know, possibly a little bit charming. He's got probably the jobs for me that he's going to make out, they're going to be the best things since sliced bread. He's going to promise the world, but up until the point that I decide that I don't want to go for that interview that he's already put me in for, that I had no idea about, at that point, he's probably going to start harassing my phone, calling me every hour of the day, just trying to get me to take this interview. And then what about when he's actually got me a job and the hiring manager has said, okay, we'd like to offer him, and then the job's not actually 100% right for you. So what happens at that point? He's probably going to get a little bit pushy, maybe a little bit aggressive, and I don't know, has any of this resonated with any of you here? Yeah? I see a lot of nodding heads. So typically, tech engineers, you guys are not stupid. You guys do know what recruiters are. And in fact, recruiters is another name for salespeople. So they probably don't want you to know this, but it is true. You guys are cattle, and it is high volume cattle sales. So sorry to tell you this, it's the truth. This is how they see you. You are something to be bought and sold. Sorry, guys.
1,800 vibes here.
Yep, exactly. I mean, has anyone ever been pressurized by a recruiter before? Yeah? They're very good at guilt tripping you, aren't they? Yeah? Laying it on thick, trying to get you to start on a certain day of a certain month even. And you're like, I've already told you, I can't start on that day of the month. Why are you trying to do this? It's because if they get you to start on a certain day of the month, then you are going to earn them commission earlier than the next month. And that is either decreed by themselves because of their own pocket, or because of their bosses, and their bosses are giving them deadlines and revenue targets that they need to hit. I'm probably going to be hated by every single recruiter after this call, but just never let a recruiter pressurize you into anything that you don't want to be doing, okay? This is why I'm different. I was you before. Once upon a time, I was you. I was a Mac admin for well over a decade. I was a Windows admin, network administrator as well. I worked at a lot of advertising agencies, IT MSPs, PwC, Thomson Reuters, some of the big corps, and also even Apple as well, upstairs in corporate. So I used to work for Apple's IS&T team for EMEA. So I was a bit techie once upon a time. I did my MCSE before I even came into IT. So for those of you who don't know, that's the Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. It's basically your Microsoft degree. I paid for my own course materials as well. I paid for my own exams because nobody else would pay for them for me. And then when I was actually in IT, I did my CCNA. So that's my Cisco Certified Network Administrator. I've always been a bit techie, a little bit of a geek. My parents actually bought me an Amstrad 6128. So I don't know if the name Amstrad rings a bell with anyone, but it means I'm very old now. Yeah, I'm actually 45. And yeah, it's, I've seen IT, I've seen technology from a very young age. And I was programming with BASIC when I was 6 years old, I think it was at the time. Yeah, so that's how long I've been doing this. Nearly 2 years, actually, 2 decades in this industry. For those of you that are hiring managers, I've also been you as well. So I was a hiring manager for 5 years. I did the whole shebang, building teams, interviewing people. Yeah, I interviewed a lot of people. I got to know the interview process very well, which actually helps me in my recruitment days now. I did work strategy. Yeah, I built systems. I did a lot of tech once upon a time. So why did I become a recruiter then? Because most of the time when you speak to a recruiter, I don't know, has anyone ever met a recruiter face to face? Like not on the phone, not on the video call, but actually face to face. You're actually living and breathing that far away from them. So you tell them what you want, what you're looking for, either as a job or when you're a hiring manager, what you're looking for someone in your team. And what are they going to say? They're going to be like, oh, okay, cool, I get it, yep. And then you start talking a bit more deeper with them, like technically, what are you looking for technically? And their eyes, immediately, they start going a bit vacant, going a bit glassy, and then, or they might be shooting around just like, what the hell did he just say? It's because they don't know what you're talking about. They've never done what we've done before. So this is the problem. And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't know what I'm talking about, how can you find me the people I want for my team? You know, it's just, otherwise you're just going to be throwing stuff at the wall and hopefully one of them will stick. You know, you're going to send me 15 CVs, one will stick. And I got sick of this, so this is why I became a recruiter. So I'm here today to tell you Apple IT careers are evolving very fast, and as the client these days and the candidate, you have to adapt or risk being left far behind, because this is the fastest moving I've ever seen it in my whole career. And candidates need new strategies to stand out in this niche ecosystem. So, and this niche ecosystem is our ecosystem, which is Apple. So starting off, have we got anyone who's near the start of their IT career? I've spoken to a lot of people so far who say they have been. And I remember when I first started off, I didn't know where to begin. You know, where do you actually start? Actually, where did you guys start off in your IT careers? What about you, Jordi?
At my current employer, in the shop.
Oh, okay. So what, it was a repair shop?
No, APR, so reseller. So I was selling things.
Right, okay.
I had no idea how to sell things, but.
Right, okay, yeah. Anyone else? What about you, Ulrich?
Reseller.
A reseller as well?
Yeah, for support.
Right, okay. And what, is it like an MSP?
Yeah, they were like an MSP.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people, they start off in help desk support, shall we say? So that's going to be your first line. So first line engineering. And a lot of that is going to be when somebody has an issue with their IT, they're going to email in to helpdesk@acme.com. You can tell I've done the Microsoft courses because it's all acme.com, isn't it? Yeah, or they're going to pick up the phone and ring up help desk, and you're going to be the first person who actually gives them a call, you know, and replies back. A lot of this is great. I mean, the second line roles will come after that as well, so that's when you actually go to people's desks and help them like that. But I think a lot of it is actually how well do you know your operating systems? That's probably the first port of call you need to do. So how well do you know Mac OS? Have you explored it fully? You know, what can you do with all those system preferences? Do you know Bash? You know, have you ever explored Terminal? How far have you gone into Bash before? Yeah, just knowing those little things actually really do help. So like when you go into Bash and you go ~library/application support and then the file, and then you put space -rm, what does that rm actually do? You know, just learning these basic things, just do not delete anything, basically. Certifications can really help. And there is a guy that I've met who actually is doing some amazing certifications downstairs. His name's Chris, and he's with Academy, and he will tell you the kind of route to go through when it comes to the Apple side. And the essential soft skills, I think this is more important than anything, to be honest, is IT and IT support is 50% technical knowledge and 50% can you translate what you're trying to do, or actually, can you translate what the user's issue is? Because the user doesn't actually understand what their what their issue is, and they're just saying what they think it is, and it's up for you to kind of interpret that and translate that. And then once you actually resolve it, you need to explain it back to them in layman's terms. So don't underestimate the power of being calm, the reliable person, and the users that managers trust as well. What about Azure as well? I think Azure is actually really quite important these days because everything is cloud. So the Azure kind of 104, 500, 120s. Jamf 100 is actually self-certified. You can go to Jamf Nation or sign up for Jamf, and then you go through the course yourself. Jamf 200 is very important. Jamf 300, and then 400 obviously is like the top level, but then you've got 370 as well now. So a lot of people as well go into the DevOps side. I see a lot of high-level Jamf admins go to DevOps, which is also a really nice career to move into. Or you've got your cybersecurity. So CISSP, Security Plus, any of these as well, also really important. So how to stand out and land the perfect IT role. Avoiding generic CVs. So everyone hates writing CVs. I hate writing CVs, to be honest. But if you're interviewing or you're trying to get into a role, you would always tailor your CV and write it for that actual specific role. It's something that I can help you with. So if you ever need to have any guidance with this, just hit me up. My contact details will be at the very end. And yeah, I would love to just help you with that. No questions asked. I would just love to help. Poor LinkedIn profiles. And this is something I'm guilty of as well. Even as a recruiter, I hate LinkedIn. I hate social media. I'm not a social media guy. And when I was a techie like you guys for 10 years, I didn't even really have a LinkedIn profile. I had it, but I never signed into it. And do you know why? Because when I signed into my LinkedIn profile, I would get nothing but salespeople and recruiters trying to contact me, trying to get me to take jobs and go for interviews. But it's changed these days. You have to have LinkedIn. And even me finding new jobs, you can probably find and network jobs as well yourself these days. Everything is LinkedIn. So you build yourself a profile, build yourself a network. It's probably the most important thing that you can do these days. LinkedIn. Yeah, and focus on problem solving. So you need to move away from reactive IT support, which is your second line support. You know, when you get a ticket and just waiting for tickets to come through. You need to actually start being proactive and building processes and systems where it negates people having to come in and ask you for your support. Those are the most important things to do. It's actually changing yourself from reactive to strategic, shall we say, IT support. Yeah, the world has changed now. It really has. Networking and referrals, they're key to you finding your next roles. Okay, the comfort zone trap. And this is what I said about second line support. It's great you've graduated and you're on second line support, you're probably earning some decent money. But staying in second line support for too long, it becomes too easy almost. And it's a trap that I find that a lot of candidates who come to me, they're stuck in this trap as well. What I like to do is, even in my own IT career, the reason I kind of moved quite quickly, progressed quite quickly in my 10 years, is because whenever I had joined a new company, of course the learning curve is going to be steep, isn't it? Exponential at the very start. But after a while, you start to plateau. And when you're plateauing, it's not really testing your brain anymore. And I think as IT guys, we have brains that need to be constantly tested. We need to be met with challenges, shall we say. And that is really important. I think a lot of it is when you're stuck in a rut, almost, you need to actually be pushed or be pushing yourself to reach your new challenge. Never be the smartest guy in the room. I know it's a cliche, it's cheesy, but it's so true. Whenever I felt like I could go back to work the next day after going out for a heavy night out, still go to work and still do the job and it's not testing me, then I know it was time to leave. So that's why I moved every 2 to 3 years. Yeah, when I felt like I've achieved everything I could do, I've implemented a system and now it's just BAU, then why am I staying there? It's even like at Apple as well. And once you're staying there, there's nowhere else to go, then what are you going to do? You don't rest on your laurels. You're going to try and find something else that's going to test you. What is the next in vogue system, shall we say, that's going to be around? what was the next thing? Back in my day, it was Jamf. I needed to go somewhere else to go and get Jamf experience before. So these are the kind of things that I used to go and do. So future-proofing your career. So I know a lot of you already have these kind of things, but the MDM systems, Jamf, Kanji, Mosul, Adigy, these are the most important things for you. Even Intune these days. I don't like to say it, but yeah, it's looking okay. It's looking okay. But zero trust as well. Does anyone know what zero trust architecture actually is? Yeah? Yeah. So it became prevalent especially when we were in lockdown. And then there was no such thing as a company LAN anymore, really, because everyone was working from home. So the internet, the wild, wild west of the internet, that was our LAN. So we had to have authentication at every stage when company data was going out across there. So that's where zero trust come in. If you don't know about it, that's definitely something that you need to start thinking about. Security compliance as well. Yeah, a lot of these, like the CIS benchmarks, NIST, ISO 27001, yeah, these are utmost important these days. And those of you that aren't doing these kind of things at the moment, you should take note of these, because these are the systems that you need to start doing. I think the biggest thing moving between second line and third line is automation skills. So that's Bash, Python. You're scripting, you're automating processes and systems to work. So your MDM systems, you don't want to be doing the same thing 20 times a day. Even if you're doing the same task, for users twice a day, if you automate it, 2 times 7, that's 14 times whatever, that's a hell of a lot every year that you're going to be saving yourself if you just automate that. Everything these days is the cloud. I remember doing my CCNA thinking, the networking is going to be that I'm going to be set for life. But these days, half of that is taken away now because everything is cloud infrastructure. All our networks are essentially cloud. So, yeah, the whole thing, I know I'm talking about simple things like Office 365 or Microsoft 365, but everything these days, that's why the Azure side and the AWS side is so important. Look into both of those systems. Yeah, asset management when it comes to governance, risk, compliance knowledge. Yeah, policy enforcement, auditing. The auditing is such an important side, so especially when it comes to ISO 27001. And the future belongs to IT professionals then, who understand automation. The automation, security, governance, yeah, it really does. These are the key points that you need to be moving towards. So, leadership and specialized roles. So if you've decided that being a techie is it for you, that's brilliant. You become an IC, individual contributor, and that is, I was like that as well. And when I went into management, I actually missed, even though I was doing strategic side and leadership, I actually missed a lot of the technical stuff because I wasn't doing it, I wasn't on the front line doing this day by day. But a lot of people do go into it as well. If you've got the mindset for it, and it's a great place to go. Leadership is not about being the cleverest guy in the room. It's about enabling the people that work with you to become the best that they can be. This is how I see things. And this is what a lot of the people do. Yeah, they really do excel at that. They enable others to become better. So the leadership positions, IT managers, heads of IT, CTO, and CISOs. So that's the security officers. Apple architects as well, if you're going for specialist roles, the Apple architects, your DevOps roles, DevSecOps roles these days, everything is security-led. Security is probably the most important thing for you guys to actually start thinking about now if you haven't already. Yeah, security within IT is the buzzword. And if I was talking to myself 5 years ago, I would have got myself to get more into the security side of IT. So obviously still retaining your Apple side, but Apple security is the main thing now. And anyone who does, these are the guys that are most in demand right now, security guys. Okay. Oh yeah, going into more CTO roles, it's more about stakeholder management, so talking to the other C-level execs, being able to sell the processes, sell the vision of what you guys are doing as a tech team, vendor management as well. So a lot of it is, obviously talking to vendors like yourselves. But I think the most important thing, when I was moving around in my career is, number one, money's important to me. Money's important to everyone. We've all got mouths to feed. We've all got parents that we, approaching older age, we need to look after them. But especially at the start of your career, mentorship is the most important thing. So I would always move, because when I went to interview with someone, if I had synergy with them, if I saw that what they were saying resonated with me, if I saw that they could actually teach me something that I haven't had before and that's going to be relevant to me, I would always go for that role, even if it wasn't as high paid as another role that was. So mentorship, having mentors, and I can cite 2 or 3 mentors actually in my career that actually enabled me to reach where I did in those 10 years. So, back to myself again. Why my approach is different. I suppose you guys can all tell now that I used to be very technical. And for me, I'm not like any other recruiter, because they are sales. They don't really care about you. They don't really take the time to get to know you. And if you've been for an interview and you haven't been successful, how many people actually get called back by the recruiter to tell them that they haven't been successful? It's not a great deal, I would assume, because it wasn't in my time. How many people have been ghosted by a recruiter? You're calling them, you're leaving them messages, exactly. Yeah, you're leaving them messages and you're like, oh, still haven't come back to me. Okay. So you leave them a nice email message, so-and-so, just inquiring how did the interview go? What are the next stages? So many times these things happen. It's because if you don't earn the money, then they don't care. That's as simple as that. And you can guarantee if it's happened to you guys here, even just 1 or 2 of you, I know it's happened to every single person in this room as well at some point. This is the industry. But I'm different. I do care. It sounds cheesy, but I really do care. Every one of you that I see here that I already know, we know each other. We've got a relationship. This is what I mean. Your career actually matters to me. It really does. So, sum it up. To invest in your skills. Like I said, when I did my MCSE, my CCNA, nobody paid for those courses for me. Just take it upon yourself. Even if they pay for it, it's worth it in the long run. Paying to come to MACAD even. These kind of things. Networking, meeting the people here. These are the ways that you're going to get the jobs. To become a name. Some of you guys here are already doing it. Jordi, Ulrich. You guys. Amazing what you guys are doing on LinkedIn. And you guys are techs. I never would have thought this before. So the world is changing. Take a leaf out of their books. They really are doing great things. Everything is building your brand. As much as I hate to say it, because I hate social media and I hate the whole look at me stuff, sometimes you do have to do it. And it is your career. The world is changing. You just do have to do a little bit of self-promotion. And I'm not talking about self-promotion. I'm just talking about if you've done something good, like a project, talk about it. Dissect it. Show the world what you've done. It's important, Something you've done, maybe something no one else has ever done in this world before. Use Slack admins. Is everyone on Mac admins on Slack? If you're not, you need to get Slack Mac admins. It's the most important resource you could probably get. Everyone is on there. That's what I love about our Apple community, It's not like the Windows community that I'm in, because literally that is PC master race. I've got the best specs, I'm the best at this, best at that. The Apple community, we are not like that at all. We all help each other, and that's why I love it. So learn new skills, scripting, MDM automation, connecting with people, find your mentors, find your new hiring manager, your peers, and apply for challenging roles that actually challenge you and not just there because they earn you 10 grand more, 20 grand more. Something that's actually going to challenge you, enable you to become something better than what you already are. So, that's my talk today. So let's connect. My LinkedIn's there, my email, have a look at my website. And just feel free, just WhatsApp me, iMessage me, Slack me, whatever. I'm on all of them. Yeah, if you ever guys need any help with your CVs, just need to talk about your career direction as well, where you can go next. You know, just find out what kind of roles I've got. I don't really advertise my roles. I'm not that kind of guy. So just ping me. I've got your CV. I'll get to know you, and I'll find you the perfect role for you as well. Okay? So, any questions, guys? Oh, Kat?
So, I'm in a bit more of an awkward kind of situation where I'm in a workplace that doesn't have a lot of money, so certifications are really hard to come by. I've managed to do the Jump 100. I'm still waiting on, like, begging to get the Jump 200. How can you make yourself kind of, because I've had the experience, I've worked with Max for 8 years, how can you put that across without the certifications to kind of back that
Yeah,
up?
so that's a great question, actually. And I meant to say that, maybe I missed that out of my notes, but certifications are great. But when I was a hiring manager, I didn't really care about certifications that much when I'm looking at somebody's CV. As a hiring manager, if you're a good one, you can quickly ascertain somebody's leveling just by talking to them, situational questions, just a general chat you're going to have. You know, when somebody says they've got CCNA, that's great, but I ask them a couple of questions and I'm like, really? Do you? Like, I'm asking them, what is DNS, for God's sake? You know? DNS, it's the most simplest thing, you know? What does it actually do? And what is it, not what it stands for, what does it actually do? Translates those geeky IP addresses into friendly host names and URLs. But how many people have got CCNA can't even tell me that? You know, what is DHCP? I'm just like, what? You're a CCNA guy, so they don't really matter. Yeah, as long as you can prove it within an interview, yeah, as long as you can get your point across and prove that you do have this knowledge, yeah, certifications, they don't really matter, to be honest. They really don't. Yeah? Okay, anyone else? Hey?
Speaking of DNS, well, tangential to that. As a recruiter, if you had a question like that, do you prefer the answer to be a highly technical, I'm very good at this answer, or a translated to English for your end users answer? Like, which one do you think carries more weight?
No, I think, yeah, definitely the more techie version. But I don't know, it depends what recruiter you're speaking to, obviously, because half of them are going to zone out, aren't they? They're going to be like, I think that's right. But yeah, yeah, definitely. In interviews, you should also give as much detail as possible. Oh yeah, another thing about interviews, yeah, give as much detail as possible, but don't go off on a tangent, because I know it's very easy to. If you're a speaker, yeah, in an interview, please don't waffle. That's the worst thing you can do. Always remember that if the interviewer wants to ask you more questions, they will. So just give your answer as succinct as possible, but obviously sound knowledgeable. Yeah? Yeah, interview technique is actually very important. So if anyone wants to come to me, even if the interview's not through me, just hit me up. Yeah, I will give you as much interview advice as I can, okay? Cool. Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you very much for everyone's time.